Hi, this is Aubrey Smith. This is a mock video. The client I will be using is not a real client. This is just a practice exercise. Harry, come on in. So glad that you made it into our appointment. How have things been going for you?
It's been okay because one of my friends I lost them a few days ago, so it's been
I
kind of
know. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's probably a lot that you have to deal with. And is that bringing up a lot of emotion for you?
a lot of
A
emotion.
lot, really, okay. Is there, have you been having any thoughts or like what have you been doing to like deal with these emotions that you have had with the passing of your friend?
Um, like the things that I do to
Have you done anything? Do you feel like, um, that you've done anything to like cope with these feelings um, or you just kind of sitting in your emotion? Do you feel like?
I feel like sometimes I might be like sitting in my emotion, but the other like half of the time while I'm just thinking about it, um, I like to listen to music or I like to draw. Um,
Yeah. In those moments of thinking about your friend's passing, do you ever, I know that you said that it like brings up some stress for you. Is there any, thoughts of doing anything to yourself, harming yourself?
um, yes, but I haven't done any like of that. I mean, I have thought of it, but
Yeah, and that could make a lot of sense with what you're having to deal with. Do you mind if we do a risk assessment just to with you having the thoughts of suicide and feelings of, overwhelming or, everything like that. Do you mind if we do something like that just to see where you're at? Yeah, is that okay? Right. All right, hon, okay. So there's just the first couple of questions that I asked just to kind of see where you're at. Have you had any thoughts of being dead or what it would feel like of being dead?
yes, but I have, like I haven't been.
Okay, but you've had the thoughts, you just okay.
Yes.
And again, have you had any thoughts? So the thoughts that you've been feeling, have they been about killing yourself, like actually doing it?
Yes, but like I I haven't done.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I can hear what you're saying. You've had the thoughts, but you haven't like previously done anything. And that kind of leads me to the next question. Have you had any plans or ways that when you're thinking about these suicidal thoughts, have you thought of a plan?
I have, but I haven't done it. Like a, a few of my plans were to. So I see my mom take like a but or I should say sleeping pills every night, right?
Mhm.
And every time I see that, sometimes like I plan on just taking 10, like not waking up, but I haven't done it yet.
Okay, so you have a pretty you've thought about this plan. You've thought about the amount of pills you're going to take, but is there any thoughts that have like stopped you from doing it, or you just feel like that is just does the thought of suicide make you uncomfortable?
It's just like the type of place or like the mood I'm in.
Mhm.
Like sometimes when or a lot of the time when I'm stressful, I'm stressed or like mad or sad, I just think about all those bad feelings. Like it
Yeah.
brings up like all the past.
Yeah, and I can understand where those thoughts are leading you with you know, all that emotion that you're going through, like that it's really hard to deal with, you know, a friend's passing. How many times do you feel like you have been having these thoughts, you know, either since our last visit or since your friend passed?
I felt it like a few times.
Just a few times, okay. And do you feel like the intensity of those feelings, if you were to like rate it on a scale of like 1 to 5, you know, 1 just being it's there and 5 just being very strong, what would you rate that?
I would do it like 3,
A 3, okay.
kind of in the middle.
Yeah, no, and that makes a lot of sense. Okay, and so now I'm just gonna go over some of like the behavior that you might have. These are gonna be more of like acting upon, okay? Did you do anything to try to kill yourself or make yourself not alive anymore?
No,
No, okay. All right, and have you done anything that was like non-suicidal or self-interest behaviors to yourself that could anything like intentional?
no, not really.
Okay. All right. And then what about like any intentional? Have you like done any self-harm? No. Okay, you just, but that's very good to hear actually. Has there been a time when you started to do something to make yourself unalive, but someone or something stopped you before you actually did anything?
No, the only thing I've done is like think about it.
Okay, okay, so just the thoughts, you haven't actually attempted anything. Okay. Has there been a time where you started doing something to make yourself not alive anymore, but you changed your mind?
No,
No, okay. Have you done anything to get ready to make yourself not alive anymore? Like giving things away, writing goodbye notes, or getting things that you need to kill yourself. Like, and I know you said the thoughts with the pills with your mom. Have you, you know, have you gone to the point where you have tried to take her pills or anything like that?
no.
No, okay. All right. Just do this. Okay, and you know, suicidal ideation is something that we take very seriously, and I just want to make sure that, you know, leaving here that you're going to be okay, and that we talk about the things that you need to while you're here, so that we have you, you know, set up for success, and, you know, even in our future visits from here, we can, talk about how these thoughts are, how strong they are for you, and if you've had any. But what I'd like to do now, if it's okay with you, is just to create a safety plan. For you can take it with you when you go home. This is just going to go over like, you know, what things are going to trigger these potential thoughts, and what you can do to prevent them. Do you think that that's something that you'd be okay to do with?
Of
Okay,
course.
perfect. Let me grab this. All right, so this one is yours, and I did bring a pen. I'm going to fill out mine at the same time as you do, just so that, you know, I have the plan in my head as well as with you, so we can go over how well the safety plan worked, you know, if you end up having any thoughts in the future, okay?
Okay.
So the first one, as you can see, it talks about the warning signs. So this is gonna go over things like how do you know when the safety plan should be used, right? So this is gonna go over like thoughts, moods, feelings, anything like that. What are some of the things, that you feel like are warning signs for you?
Like when I'm stressed, when I'm frustrated, like when I fight with my mom,
Yeah.
um, like when I'm really sad about losing my friend.
Yeah. And I can see how that would be a lot of like mood triggering events for you, which I know that you mentioned that in the first of our meeting, that, you know, your mood kind of sets these thoughts off. So I'm glad that you were able to pinpoint multiple feelings that you can go through. And so I'm just gonna write like some of the events as well, if you just want to write this down as well for the warning signs. So we can say, you know, when you feel stressed, you said when you feel frustrated, that's when you're having fights with your mom. Okay, so let's write that, frustrated with fights with mom. And then you also pointed out when you're feeling sad, it's because those emotions are stemming from losing your friend. So when thoughts are thinking about how you've lost a friend. Okay. And then with the stressed out, what are some of the things that you feel like stress you out the most?
Like stressing.
Yeah, like what are some stressors for you that could potentially trigger you into leading you to these thoughts?
Just thinking about like worrying about people or like thinking of my best friend.
Yeah. Okay, so when you're worrying about people, is that in terms of like, um, you are worried about losing them because you've just, okay, because you've just recently lost your friend. Okay, so we're just gonna put worrying about losses. Okay. Is there any thoughts that you tell yourself that potentially lead you to those thoughts either? Is there any thoughts you can think of that like, you know, maybe like I'm not good enough or um anything like that? What kind of thoughts go through your head that could lead you to feeling that?
Um, Probably like it's it's basically like when I see something that reminds me of her sometimes and I'm like just stressed out about it.
Okay, so just different, is it environments or is it more of just like, what kinds of things
Like
are you,
environments.
what's that? Environments? Okay,
Yes.
so things and environments. Okay, thank you for sharing all of that with me, Kyrie. I know, to think about these feelings can, um, bring up a lot of things for you, but I appreciate that you were able to share these with me, and get these written down so we can, you know, we can handle this if it comes up again for you, okay? All right, so the next one, what do you feel like you can do on your own, if you become suicidal again? This is gonna be things that will help yourself not to act on those thoughts of suicide. Can you name a couple of things for me?
Probably like music, drawing.
Okay, so those are some of the hobbies that you're able to do that will help you distract from these thoughts, right? Okay, the music, what kind of music do you listen to that helps you just be distracted?
Like probably pop music,
Pop music, okay.
Latin music.
Pop music, Latin music, okay. And how does it feel when you're playing pop or Latin music for you? If you're kind of going through struggles, what does that feel like for you?
It feels like more like in me it's not stress or anything. It makes me I should say happy.
Yeah,
So it like gets that thought out of my head.
yeah, that's really great. I'm glad that you were able to point that out. So just hearing Latin or pop music helps you to just feel more happy and just completely distract you from those thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and did I hear you correctly that you said art is another one of the hobbies that, okay, perfect. All right, and that's something that do you do very often? Do you only do to distract? What does that look like for you?
I do it like to distract.
Okay, that's really good. When do you feel like is the last time that you used art for yourself?
Probably like a few days ago. Um,
Yeah, is that when some of the thoughts were happening for you, or do you feel like it was just something that you wanted to have more of a hobby with, to do better?
Like to get the feeling out of my head.
Okay, that's really good. That's really good. It sounds like you're very self-aware of, how to help make yourself feel better. And I really love that about you, Kyrie. Okay, what else? What is, sorry, put that on number one. What would be a number two thing for you, that helps you, feel distracted?
Like movies,
Okay,
that
what kind of
remind me
movies do you like?
probably like anime movies because
Anime.
it reminds me of her, and it's just like a good feeling.
Yeah. Does it remind you of like the good times that you've had? It doesn't bring up those sad emotions of the loss, but more of those happy memories that you once had with her. I really do like that a lot. Okay. So movies with anime. Okay. And then what would be your number three thing that you would write down?
Probably like meditation.
Meditation. That is a really good one. Do you have skills of meditation now, or is that something that you've been wanting to gain better at?
It's like kind of a hobby that I do.
Okay.
It like goes into my calm place and just like, calms me down.
Yeah, that is really great. I think that there's a lot of great skills that meditation can teach you, and it sounds like that you've been doing it for a while, so you understand that. Okay, Kyrie, so this next section is just going to go over the people, social settings, things like that will help also provide distraction. So this can be, so who are what social settings help you take your mind off of these problems?
Probably like Lizzie, my best.
Lizzie?
Yeah.
You said she's your best friend? Oh, I love that. Okay. Do you talk to her very often?
Yes.
Good. Is that a daily thing? Is that every other day?
It's like every other day.
Okay, good. Okay. And if you just want to write her name down, and you know her phone number? Okay, okay, what is the phone number for her?
And it's 385-350-2405.
Perfect. All right, and then who would be another support for you to help distract from these thoughts?
Probably like my mom.
Your mom, good, okay. And she's probably a little more accessible than Lizzie sometimes. Or you live with your mom at home? I know that we've discussed that before. How do you feel like your relationship is with your mom? Because I know that you did say sometimes fights with your mom, you get a little frustrated, that could lead to these thoughts. Do you feel like you have a good relationship with your mom?
Um, Most of the time, yeah.
Good. No, that's really good. It's family dynamics, you know. Okay, honey, what is her phone number?
435-896-0774.
Okay, good. And so now we're just gonna go over like two different places that you feel like is like a safe environment for you, places that you can go to to just get out of that zone. Where do you feel like is one place that would work for you?
Probably like the mountains
Okay, so kind of like the nature aspect. Okay.
or like walks at night.
Yeah, yeah. Is that, so the walks at night, do you feel like that is something you could, talk, with your mom about, and maybe we could potentially, get her on the same page of like, hey, if I'm feeling these ways, I, really need you to, go for these walks with me, and that way you're just not alone in these walks. How do you feel about that?
Pretty good.
That's something you feel like you could do?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's awesome. Okay. This next section is gonna go over, again, just like some of the people that, you can ask for help, okay? Um, okay, so this could be family or friends. Who do you feel like you could contact during a crisis? Is your support system? Who are some people that you know that you could call that would answer and help you through these things? Let's do three of them.
Probably you.
Oh, me. Okay, good. I love that. Okay, so you're a therapist. Okay, and I obviously know my numbers, so I'll write that down if you want to write down my number at the same time. Okay, it's 435-668-7258. Okay. Right, and great. I think that that's really lovely of you to name me as one of your support systems. And I know in our future visits that we are going to do a lot of really great things, working through emotions and all of that. Okay, who else do you feel like is part of your support system?
Probably my mom.
Okay, yeah. And then we have already written her number up there. If you just want to write it down one more time so that we have it written on other places, okay? Okay, and then who would be your third person that you feel like you could call?
Lizzie.
Lizzie, okay, great. And that was your best friend, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll just write her number down if you just want to write that right there again. Okay, perfect. Great job so far, Kyrie. And I'm really, really impressed with how well you know yourself and how well you know your support system, things that you can do. I see a lot of really great things in this, okay? So the next section is going to talk about professionals or agencies that you can call. This could be like mental health professionals. I do have a couple of numbers that we can write down. We have like the crisis line for people who have thoughts of suicide. I will give you a couple of those. Why don't we start with who would be like your number one clinician, do you feel like you could call?
Probably like Alexandra. I don't know how to say her last
That's
name.
okay. Is this your primary care provider? Is this your doctor that kind of sees you at yearly checkups? Who is she?
She is one of the like she like mm, I don't know how to like say it, but she like just I think
Is she a doctor for you?
basically
Okay. Great, and she's pretty aware of the events that have happened in your life leading up to this point, and as well as like some of the thoughts. You feel like that's somebody you could call, right?
Mhm.
Okay, great. Do you have her phone number? Do you want me to look that up?
um I don't think
You don't know it? That's perfectly fine, Kyrie. Let's put a note on here. We're gonna look up Alexandria Twitchell. We'll get some of these other ones written down here. Okay, and we'll get her emergency contact as well, okay? Who would be another, maybe mental health, clinician that do you feel like you could call?
probably you.
Oh, good, okay. Well, I can't argue with that there. Let's put my information down. I have the phone number written right there, but we can go over it. It's the 435-668-7258 number. And then already know the emergency contact on that. The number is 480-369-2000. Okay. So that's gonna be the emergency contact number for me. That line is always open. And so and then do you know of any local urgent care services that, are around the area? Do you? No? Okay, that's okay. I know one, they have one over at the University of Utah. It's called the Huntsman Mental Health Institute. Do you feel like if I give you the number and address for that, that's somebody that you feel like you could reach out to feeling these? Yeah, great, okay. So the name on that again is Huntsman Mental Health Institute. Okay, and then the address on that, are you ready? Okay, it's 501 Chipeta, Chipeta Way. And that's gonna be in Salt Lake City, okay? I know that you live near the University of Utah, so I feel like that would be a really great additional source for you, just in case, okay? The phone number for them, let's get that down, is 801 583 2500, okay? And then on the bottom of that, as you can see, we do also have the suicide prevention hotline phone number. It's the 1-800-273-TALK with 8255, okay? You can push 1 to reach, the mental health, clinician that is working, okay? So just if you just wanna put the little note there to press 1. And then one other option I was thinking of that would benefit, you a lot. I mean, this is if you're you're having these thoughts and you don't feel like you can talk with mom or Lizzie or me or, whoever. We do have a hotline of 988. You just want to write that down. That's also another suicide hotline. They can just talk with you through things. And if you have this safety plan near you, at all times, I think that would be really important for you, Kyrie, just to always protect yourself and make sure that we avoid, these thoughts. And if we can't avoid them, that we know what to do to help ourselves, okay? All right, and then this last section is talking about how to like make your environment safe. This is just like reducing potential, use of these things. So this would probably be a really good spot to you could potentially like talk with your mom and get does she normally have her pills, like, do you have access to her pills?
No.
You okay? Um, if you wanted to, if you felt like, you were having these suicide thoughts, does she keep it in, like, do you know where she keeps it? Like in her bedside, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, she does keep it on her bedside, okay. Maybe to keep the environment safe with, the pills being the thought of your suicidal thoughts, that's kind of where your plan is when. Do you think talking with your mom about maybe putting them maybe in a safe or somewhere else that you don't have access to? Do you think that that is something that you could do?
Yeah.
And that would help keep the environment safe? And okay, so why don't we write that one down there? And that's gonna be on the step 6, okay? Perfect. Okay, and then what do you feel like is another way to help keep your environment safe, Kyrie?
Probably like to take sharp objects out of my room.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good idea. And that's just out of all potential suicidal ideation, in the future, that's really good input within yourself. So just to remove all sharp objects. from room. Do you feel like that's something, either of these two things to keep your environment safe? Do you feel like those are something that you could do today? After our visit, going home with your mom, do you feel like that's something you could talk with her about? Good, okay. If it's something that maybe you would like me to help you talk with her about, or just having me talk with her, I want you to have the choice of those two things. Which would you feel like you would be more comfortable with, having me talk with her with you, or just having me talk to her?
Probably like both of us.
Both of us, that's a really good idea, okay. Awesome, and then that way we can go over your safety plan with her, have everybody on board the same way. Do you feel like where would you feel like you would keep your safety plan as a reminder? Where would you keep it?
I will probably keep it in my drawer, and like if I need it, I can like just grab it.
Yeah, I definitely think that that's a really good idea. I've had other clients who have pinned it to the wall, kind of somewhere near that they, so it's not just put away and packed away. It's been somewhere where they can, see it on a daily basis to help keep them safe. Whatever you feel like is going to work best for you, Kyrie. Everyone works as their own individual, and you do as well, okay? Great, okay, so kind of the last thing that I wanted to go over is, what is one thing that is most important to you? And what do you feel like is most worth living for?
Probably like the most important thing is probably like family and friends, and then something to live for is like probably just my family and the people who are important to me.
Yeah, I really do appreciate that, Kyrie. I'm glad that you have a decent support system that you can call, and I appreciate you sharing where your emotions and your thoughts, and sharing that with me and building that trust with me. Glad that this is a safe place for you, and I look forward to our future visits. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for doing all that with me.